Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, back in the Misty Mountains. We are gonna make our way to the High Pass and eventually into Goblin-town. If you remember, we'll need to recover some gems from there while we wait for a certain key to be repaired. So we are already on our way. You might see here on my back, well, I got some Virtue XP from the Hobbit present, but more importantly, I got my first ever Heritage rune that can't obviously use yet, but we're gonna save that one, and I think that will come in handy. If you are familiar with the game, you'll know when you get your first legendary item, you will need to level it up to 10. And I think we can save that room for that time, so that we can save a few minutes afterwards. But we still have plenty of things to do. We'll need to finish book 11, 12, 13 and 14 and 15 of the epic. We still have quite the journey ahead of us. So, for the High Pass, trying to remember my way there. It's been a while. So, but I think I showed it to you the last time we were on this part of the Misty Mountains. Not that hard to find when you are in the right place, but it might be a little dangerous because you might fall if you're not paying attention. That happened to me once at least. And I can already see it on the horizon. The bridge, the stone bridge, we'll need to cross to make it to the High Pass. But before I forget, I just saw that tooltip in there and we're gonna need to kill just a couple of them. Not too many. But yeah, we'll need to collect some hides from these Aurochs for the class quest. And it's not so bad. They go down fast enough. What I'm checking in here is that I can find those 6. And preferably before going up to the High Pass. I mean, they are already here, and this is the area in which to look for them. So yes, it's better to take this opportunity and fight them. That was basically it. Now we can continue what we were doing. What? Sorry, no. Scratch that. I hadn't realized some of them didn't drop the hides. My bad. And that usually happens. But luckily, we are still in the area. But they still insist on doing those nasty stunts, and it truly doesn't do anyone any favors. Alright, now we do have the 6 hides that were required for this quest, so we can look for the High Pass. Not far from here. Okay, you see, we have crossed into the high pass. Quite fitting. The snowfall. It does add to the ambience a lot. Okay, and we got a new explorer deed, the Forbidding Heights. We need to find Kitty Tower, the Black Crack, Tombstone, Airford Cleft, Rhythm Boars, Starkhath, Grimbark, and Akultod. Alright, so yeah, we have a lot of deeds here in the Misty Mountains. Some of them, well, basically all of them uncompleted. And here's the High Pass. So first of all, let us pick up the Stable Master. Let's get rid of this guy. This is what, the same volume 2 forward? Yes.
Well met.
Oh there, friend. What brings one such as you into the frozen peaks of the High Pass? Vigar sent you, did he? Good fellow. Well, it turns out we're fine here. Plenty of goblins to go around, and the weather's not so bad once you get used to it. Now, we do have quite a few things on the docket, if you will, and that and it seems my skinny friend here has lost his fellow. Glorwen got up here a bit before us, and while she left signs of her safe arrival, we've seen naught of her since. He's a cool one, but I think he's starting to get a bit worried.
Will you help me?
Alright. Let us take first this one, Glorwen's Fate.
Milan, will you stay a moment?
This will eventually take us into Goblin-town. Among other tasks, Eywind and I have come up into these Forsaken Mountains in search of a companion of mine by the name of Glorwen. He came here some weeks ago with the same duty we have, to explore the strength and purpose of the goblins of High Pass and ensure that they do not move against Rivendell without warning. Unfortunately, she has always been easily distracted by the hunt, and I find it likely that she has managed to while away the past weeks entertaining herself and has quite lost track of the time. When last we heard from her, she was going to explore a set of giant ruins to the east, rumored now to be inhabited by a large pack of wargs. If you would help us find her, you should begin your search there.
Greetings, friend. Will you lend me your ear?
Glorwen had been tasked with scouting the strength of the warg packs in the Misty Mountains, especially those who prowl through the High Pass near upon the gates of Goblin-town. She has failed to return, so we must continue her mission. The ruins to the east were once inhabited by capricious giants, but it is said that they fell at odds with the goblins of Goblin-town and most moved south and east of here, being unable to pursue the vicious goblins into their underground kingdom. Now those ruins appear to have become the lair of a large pack of wargs who are likely allied with the goblins. Test them if you would and see if they fight or flee. If they fight in the face of losses, then it is likely that they are held under a strong pack leader and remain allied with the goblins. So I'm not exactly sure how many of these quests will have in relation with the Goblin-town quest line or will eventually send us to Grimbark, but that's another area I want to visit.
Might you lend me an ear?
Well met, Beriathan. Did Elrond send you up here? No matter either way, we've plenty to do before the heavy snow set in. It seems that Rivendell is getting nervous about the rumors they've been hearing about Goblin-town falling under the sway of Angmar or some such. So they sent me and my lanky friend here to take a look around and see what's what. Can't say that we know for sure whether Angmar is involved, but we did find a large goblin encampment on the surface just a short ways northeast of here. Normally the goblins prefer to stay down in their caves away from the sun, so that's a telltale sign that something is wrong. We've been making little forays now and again against the goblins, but for now we've got to keep an eye on this pass. Make sure they don't start heading west to join with the smaller tribes scattered about the Misties. Perhaps you would care to take a try at them in the meanwhile. There are plenty to go around and it would give you a chance to determine their strength. I would also say the exercise will do you some good. You are looking a bit winded from the heights here.
Will you help me?
Well, the elf here thinks I may have gone a bit daft, but hear me out and see what you think. I've got a plan in mind, and those fire pots the goblins wield are at the heart of it. They are making them in large numbers in there, and while goblins may be industrious, they are also careless. You should be able to steal a number of those fire pots, and with a bit of work, we ought to be able to use their own weapons against them. The thought of that entire camp in flames brings me a certain childish delight. So let's get to work. Alright, so we're gonna head down over here and start doing all this. And I think I'm gonna equip the Stone of the Tortoise for a while. I don't want to hit level 50 while on the surface. I would pretty much see how much XP can I get out of Goblin-town as a whole, doing the whole thing. Because I think that should be enough to get me to level 50. But I want to have that experience underground. In the meantime, we're gonna halt the experience gain. And we're gonna look for the goblins. I think there was another way down here, but because this will take us directly into the Goblin fortress, I believe. Well, the surface fortress, or very close to it. But yeah, let's bring the fight to these guys. Or is it gonna take us directly to one of the entrances of Goblin-town? Goblin-town has two different entrances, one up top, one down below. And I think this one we're gonna find on top is the one Bilbo and the company used as well. But I always miss my way in here. I think the entrance is actually over there. But we'll need to go down up here and then up the other way. Oh, well, there is still no time to enter Goblin-town. But yeah, I always miss my way here. I can't remember where one exit A is located and the other. It seems this was a little shortcut of sorts. Alright, that guy's down. Okay, so the fires. Oh, we start getting pages once again. That's right. So Chieftains of the Dunedain, page 23 and page 32. And that's it for the moment. But it's good these pages are dropping once again. Maybe we can... Yeah, I think by entering Goblin-town, if we are not lucky enough with the drops on the surface, Goblin-town is surely gonna give us the pages we're missing. So Watch Against the Night, page 44. We need to find more stabbers and bombers. Not to mention the fire pots. It seems the way is actually up top for the fire pots. Through here. No more pages, it seems. And yeah, the pots. We'll need to try and enter this area over here, but we can already start working on the wargs as well. Roar's Boy, page 17. Okay, now here are the fire pots we're looking for. There are a couple in here, so let us take them. Okay, so that's 2 out of 5. We need a few more of these pots, and I don't want to get too deep into this camp, as I think there will be another quest later to come back here in full force. But I don't see any other pots here in the open, so yeah, might be better to just do a quick foray inside. I think what we can do actually is just looking for some pots really quick and not worry too much about the goblins. I don't think they are a real threat. They are like what, 5 or 6 level below the recommended level, so yeah, that should be fine. Alright, all that for just 1 pot. So that's 3. Now let us see if we can find those other 2 really quick. And then I'll guess we'll make another jump for it. Here are all the pots that we're missing. Okay. That should be it. Now let us grab this one here. To make this jump. Doesn't seem too high. If we are careful, maybe. Please survive the fall. Okay. Okay. That was great. Let us check this really quick. A candle, some mathoms. Color scroll case. Okay. Refined Atlas essence, already known. Alright, the injury is gone. Hopefully they will stop attacking and give me some space to use the mathoms I just got. I don't think we are too far from kindred with the Mountain Society. I have not checked. Let me see here. Bulwar's Void, Chieftains of the Dunedain, Watch Against the Night. Okay, yeah. Goblin Strikes, Critical Strike. Okay, Master of the Spear, Mighty Throw, Perseverance, Terrible Visage. And we're so close to that one, so let us make sure we get it on this episode. I think we're gonna be fighting a lot. The mammoths, I don't think you need to fight. Oh jeez. Well, they won't attack you, but I don't remember if there is maybe a quest for fighting mammoths. Okay, now for Signs of Glorwen. Okay, didn't count that work, but here's what we're looking for anyway. Glorwen's bow. Let us pick this one. Now we can go back to the high pass. A long way, I believe. Well, not that long, but rather uneventful, we can say. I'm not sure if it's worth getting those boxes. Not for Beriathan though. Oh jeez. This is the roving threat. Not gonna look for a fight against this guy. Let's avoid him. Be really careful. But anyway, as I was saying, not sure if it's speaking worth the loot boxes. Not on Beriathan, as I told you on a previous episode. For some characters that I don't think I will take to the level cap or close anytime soon. But those black steel keys, I'm not sure if they are worth saving or not. What I'm trying to say, and or if they have any good loot at those levels. I did try some of them on other tunes, and I got some modes of enchantment and some items for Figments of Splendor. Oh, another roving threat in here. This is another guy you want to avoid. Some Figments of Splendor and even some jewelry, which is nice. I don't want to get in that fight. Nope, this is not the way up. I mean, is the only way up where we came from? I don't think so. I think there is another access to that camp a little to the south and to the east. Or here. Could be. So yeah, this is where I should have come from since the very beginning. Not taking the high pass, but actually through here is easier and faster. Okay, let's talk to these guys.
Greetings.
Ah, well fought, Beriathan. Goblins may make for poor company, but they do help keep one's skills honed. Now, those fire pots you mentioned, those are not weapons for little skirmishes. They were designed as weapons of war for burning forests and besieging fortresses. If the goblins are making so many of them, it can only mean they have plans to march beyond the mountains, and soon, methinks. We will need to do something about that.
What do you need?
Good work, Beriathan. Now let us see those. There is not much a goblin can come up with that a dwarf can sort out in short order. What's this? The pearls in the mountains advanced. Perfect. It exploded in your face. Not quite so clever with your beard on fire, are you, Master Dwarf? Do you have any other quest for me? Or not yet? So Pearl on the Mountains advanced and LOTRO points, some virtue XP. And now we need to complete 10 more quests. That's not gonna be a problem.
Hail, friend, and well met.
So Beriathan, you have returned already. It seems the works remain organized in some fashion and likely friendly to the goblins. Would that there were some way to break their foul alliance.
Greetings to you.
What is this? Glorwen's bow? Yet you say you saw no other signs of her safe? A torn cloak? Had the works slain her, it is likely they would have torn her to pieces and let the evidence lie plainly about. If there was no sign of her body, then it is possible that she yet lives. Perhaps she escaped, but I think that unlikely, for she would have gone back for her bow or come to us in need of aid. I have no answer to this riddle, but perhaps the works might.
Sweet lad Melon, will you stay a moment?
With your discovery of Glorwen's bow, we are left with little but dire tidings in the search for her, but at least you have not come upon her not bones, so we can be thankful for that. Unfortunately, few works are inclined or even able to speak the tongues of the free peoples, and I am afraid my own experience with their kind can be summed up entirely on the point of a Jew shop, so I have little insight to offer. I do not know how we might learn more of her fate from them. Eywind's people lived up here for many years before they were driven out, and some feuds still linger. Perhaps he could offer more insight than I. And he has this follow-up to the exploding thing.
You may be of service to me.
It would seem that there are indeed some limits to the ingenuity of dwarves, Master Eywind. Fortunately, I happen to know a wizard who is far wiser than either of us, particularly when it comes to matters of fire. I remember many years ago when Mithrandir would come to Rivendell to celebrate momentous events with us, and often his fireworks would be central to the evening festivities. It so happens that in discussing the nature of his fireworks, he mentioned a draught which he uses to enhance the virtue of his displays. It occurs to me now that if we happen to have a bit of this drought on hand, we might make excellent use of it when it comes time to deal with these goblins and their fire pots once and for all.
What do you want?
Well, while it is true that I fought and slain many a warg in my day, I have had little cause to speak with them beforehand. But if my memory serves me aright, there is a pair of brothers who have lived up in these mountains for quite some time as hunters and trappers. If anyone might have learned something about that peak, it would be them. The last I heard, they were holed up in the ruins of Grimborg, an old dwarf place to the east and a bit south of here, still pursuing their trade. If you can find them and they still live, they might be able to tell you more. Alright, so that's exactly what I was looking for. So first of all, we're gonna go to Grimborg. That's gonna progress Glorwen's, the search for Glorwen. And that will eventually get us to Goblin-town, plus there are some extra goodies in Grimborg that are really useful. And as soon as we get those goodies, we'll go talk to Gandalf in Rivendell to meet Thrandur. And I think with this, we will have unlocked all the stable masters in the Misty Mountains. As I told you before, that is something that I also want to make sure about, getting all the stable masters possible. Now, this. This snow form looks awesome. It really makes you feel threatened while in the Misty Mountains. Like that a lot. So let us discover the stable master.
Greetings.
Okay, so that's for the Elder Slate missions. We're not gonna do that yet. But we'll need to enter here. But first, let us talk to Offwell. As you can see here, he has this Master in the Misty Mountains, which, once again, is really useful. You have acquired the Master in the Misty Mountains skill. So let us look for it. It's in here, and let us get it on our quick bar. That's just what I wanted. And it also populated this one in here, but no. Let us keep it just over there. And now we can talk to Borges.
It is hopeless.
What do you want? Something about that pack up there to the north? I used to hunt the orcs up that way before I moved into the worm scale business, and I learned a fair bit about the wargs in order to stay alive. If you want to find one that will talk, that would be Blackfang, the pack leader. A few others might know the tongue of men, but they won't talk to you. It will be him that speaks for the pack and strikes bargains with the goblins, but he won't speak to you either, unless you were to call him out. You see, wargs are big on strength and survival of the fittest and all that, so while there is no way a pack would ever accept you as a leader, they would still look to the pack leader to kill you if you lay down a challenge to his leadership, just to prove his strength. If he backed down or refused, he would lose face, and for a warg, that can be fatal. The costume of challenge varies from pack to pack, but in this one it's simple. There is an old goblin totem in the middle of the ruins they live in. You just go stand next to that for a few minutes and that signals you want to fight. Blackfang will have to come out and face you sooner or later, or lose face with his pack. Of course, he is the pack leader because he is the strongest one up there, so you take care or he will tear you apart. Nogmeldir is that... Okay, so we're not gonna pick these two quests.
My tale is a grievous one indeed. My tale is a grievous one indeed.
This quest will require us to go further south into a Coradine camp over here, and I have always found those quests to be a little not worth it. They are too out of the way. So with that said, let us go to Rivendell and talk to Gandalf. Now that we have the Master in the Misty Mountains, we can safely travel in and out of it. We'll return here to Grimborg, and from here we can take the Stable Master to any other location in the Misty Mountains. I would hope this is gonna be quick. Okay, we're in. So, Bilbo's room, and Mithrandir is right over here.
Why do you disturb me?
What is this? An elf named Nogmeldir sent you for what? And now I recall him, bright fellow, though a bit impetuous. He wants my fire draw, does he? Whatever for? Goblin fire pots, an entire camp of them. I think I see what the fellow is about. I do happen to have a vial left. Where was that? Here it is. Now be careful with that. No more than a few drops, mind you, and keep it away from the lamp oil, or you will soon find yourself lacking your eyebrows, if you are fortunate. We'll keep that in mind. Now let us go back to the Misty Mountains. I mean, if you don't have the master, you can still go back to the stables in Rivendell, take the swift travel to Glóin's camp, and from there to Vindurhal, which also works, but this one is definitely faster. We are right here.
Swilad Melon.
Were you successful? Yes, that is the drought Mithrandir mentioned. It does not look like much, does it? I will speak with Eywind on how we might best employ this, and then we shall see.
Hail, friends, and
So,
well met.
this Torghast told you of a means to pose a challenge to the leader of the workpack. It sounds to me like a novel means of having oneself ripped limb from limb by ravening wargs. But if there is some chance that we might be able to learn something of Glorwen's whereabouts from this Blackfang, then perhaps it is worth the risk. Okay, so let us take...
Greetings, friend. Will you lend me your ear?
I know this is asking much of you, but if Torghast believes that the only way we might learn something from the works of Starkhath is to challenge their leader, then I can see no other way forwards. Glorwen's life may hang in the balance, if she yet lives at all. For her sake as well as yours, take care and arm yourself well.
Come and stay a moment.
By Durin's beard, this will be a fine date indeed. This drought of Gandalf is precisely what we need to make a shambles of the goblins' firepot camps. I went down to take a quick peek at the encampment while we were off to Rivendell, and I found what we're after. That big thing on the lower slope with the scaffold and the huge burning cauldron on it, that is the heart of their production, and that is where we will strike. They've got stored materials for their fire pots all over the camp. All we have to do is slip Gandalf's draught into that cauldron and give it a tip, and the mixture should do the rest of our work for us. You mark my words. Okie dokie, let's go. So yes, these two were two relatively short quest lines. They are almost done as far as I can remember. Or unless that's as far as I'm willing to take them. So let us go to the cauldron first. And then let us go face Blackfang and challenge him. Those resolution or spear of virtue. Well, we're close with this one, but we still need a few more days for that. This is gonna take a while, is it? Anyway, cauldron is right over here. That's the scaffold that Eywind mentioned. It seems there is no escaping this goblin, no avoiding them. We have found the burning cauldron, so we just need to rub this in. Oh, that's so cool. That's so awesome and funny at the same time. We'll speak with Eywind in just a moment, as we are still missing Blackfang. Does this count for deed completion? Is there a deed for the goblins in the Misty Mountains? Should have checked those too. But no, there is no Goblin Slayer, so it's still the same. Now that I remember, let us check in here. Let us change the virtue to confidence. Let us also take care. We don't want the roving threats to cross our path, for sure. I think I'm gonna lose aggro on some of them, but the real focus in here is just the deed, really. Of course, killing the wargs, it's also on my best interest to complete the racial deed, but I think there are enough wargs in Middle Earth. These guys now. There they go, and here is the totem. Challenge has been issued. So the wargs come here. Obviously they threaten you, but they will leave this to the pack leader. Here is Blackfang. Who dares? You are not of the pack, and yet you would challenge me. So be it. Right, enough, I yield. You want the elf? She means nothing to us. The goblins came and took her down into their caves. There she will remain until they torment her to death. Now go, I shall not see the pack to one such as you, challenge her not. Let me be, please. Okay, now we gotta return to Eywind and Nogmeldir and bring the good news to them. Over there. Well, the landscape in the Misties, even though it's a little desolate, is still very well done. Especially if you come from the green area, the change of pace is surely welcome. When you spend a lot of time in here, it does get repetitive, a little bit monotonous. But coming from the troll shows and from eventing beforehand, this is a nice change of scenery. I wouldn't say it's the best snowy landscape in LOTRO. There are a few of those, and I'm not sure which one I like the most. I think it's the Misties, because the other ones I don't know, don't add it for me. But I will reserve my full judgment until we get to the other snowy landscapes. Ha! Well done! This is a fine thing indeed, to watch an enemy's schemes blow up in their own faces, is it not, Beriathan? Would that we could blow the entirety of Goblin-town sky high as well, but I fear that it'll not be nearly as neat a conclusion when at last that dark war unfolds.
Sweet lad Melon.
Your tidings chill me to the bone, Beriathan. You are those who have escaped from the dark, twisted capes of Goblin-town once they have entered within. The hatred of the goblins for my kin is great, and Glorwen's torment will be long and cruel at their hands. We must prepare, by stealth or force of arms, to rescue her, for even should we lose a dozen heroes to the darts and blades of the goblins, still our suffering will be as nothing compared to hers, till we leave her to their devices. Let us still take this one. Down to Goblin-town we go.
You may be of service to me.
The Blackfang revealed Glorwen's fate to you before he was himself torn to pieces by his own pack. I deem it a fitting fate for such a monster, but not for poor Glorwen. There is but one glimmer of hope that remains. The hatred of the goblins for my people is such that they will not kill Glorwen if they can help it. They would much rather keep her in endless toil and torment until her will to live breaks and she either loses her mind or dies of her own accord. Luckily, Glorwen is no faint maiden to be easily broken by such as they, and thus we may have some time to effect her escape, but I would not have her suffer a minute longer beneath at the tender mercies of the goblins. I have heard that Glóin, a dwarf yet still a friend, has set up a camp outside of Goblin-town. Find him and he will share with you what he knows of the depths and dungeons hidden beneath. Alright, we have just enough time to find Glóin. It's right at the entrance of Goblin-town, and then on the next episode we'll venture right in and do all that there is to do inside. And you know what? I didn't plan for this, but all this seems quite fitting. Being in the Misty Mountains in this time of year. Well, by the time I upload it, I mean, right now still not winter at the time of recording, but by the time you see this, it will be full winter. In fact, if my calculations are correct, this will be coming up on New Year's Eve. And I would also like to take the opportunity to reflect a little bit upon this. It has not been an easy year for a lot of people, but it has also had its blessings for me, which I am deeply grateful for. And one of them has surely been this one, being able to finally pursue and create the channel, upload the videos, start this journey. I'm really grateful for it, and I thank you all for being part of this and for watching all of it. And May 2021, next year, will be full of blessings for us all, and that we may all overcome these hard times together. And well, we'll start the new year with the episode in Goblin-town. We might need to make it a special episode because I don't think 1 hour is enough to do all that there is to do in Goblin-town, but we'll find that out in the next episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. Join me next time when we will talk to Glóin and head right into Goblin-town. For the time being, thank you once again for watching. That's all for today's episode. Stay safe, take care of yourselves. I will see you next time, and bye bye.